A very good evening, viewers. Welcome to Swarajya. My name is Sharan Setti, and I'll be explaining why Modi's visit to Karnataka comes at a very crucial point. In fact, this is happening amid the Hijab Rav, textbook Rav, and the anti conversion law. And basically, the government of Karnataka and the Basavaraj Bommai administration has faced a lot of controversy over the last 1 year. And Modi's visit is actually a refreshing change and gives a glimpse of hope for the Karnataka BJP. And this is why. Let me take you back a year ago. Coastal Karnataka, or as we call it, Karavali Karnataka, was ravaged with floods around July last year, July, August. Now, this was the time when B.S. Yediyurappa was the outgoing chief minister and the BJP was busy finding his successor. There was a lot of infighting within the BJP, and the opposition's pressure was mounting on the BJP to form a proper government and also appoint a chief minister. This is when the floods happened in districts like Uttar Kannada, and I remember speaking to some of these flood affected victims. Now, you must remember that the entire coastal Karnataka belt is a huge BJP bastion, and it has remained so since the last few years. So, some of these victims of the floods who were displaced, when I was speaking to them, they were very angry with the BJP. Even these people happen to be, some of them happen to be BJP supporters. But Karnataka's politicians have had nothing new to offer. In Delhi in 2012-13, there was a change when Arvind Kejriwal took over and the Aam Aadmi Party government was formed. In 2014, Modi took over as the Prime Minister. Regardless, there is a palpable change which is offered, an alternative which is offered from the status quo. Whether you agree with that change or not is entirely up to you. But even those mild hopes that people of Karnataka clung on to were vaporized. This is exactly when Basavaraj Bommai took oath of office as the Chief Minister of Karnataka, and immediately he attended to the situations. And as soon as he took over, Karnataka as the Chief Minister, many people, including political commentators and observers, questioned his ability on whether he'll be a proper successor to B.S. Yediyurappa or whether he'll be actually able to pull off that job without much difficulty, and he has that X factor in him. Surprisingly, Bommai not only survived the infighting within the BJP but also shrugged off the opposition's pressure tactics and also arguably managed the COVID 19 pandemic very well. And this has happened in the last 1 year or so. And this is not easy for any chief minister to face in the first year of his office. And Bommai has arguably done well. But regardless, every power transition, however smoothly it happens, leaves a bitter taste in the mouth for those who have to make a compromise. This actually put Basuraj Bommai in a very tricky position between the several camps that are there in Karnataka politics, in the BJP and the center as well. This is somewhat different from how B.S. Yediyurappa used to operate, because he did express his differences with the center from time to time, and that is something that the opposition in Karnataka also admired. But Bommai surprisingly seems to enjoy patronage from both the camps, and this is what is uniquely distinctive about Basavaraj Bommai. And as soon as he got settled in finally, coming out of all the crises and the controversies, more controversies emerged, whether it's the hijab row or the anti conversion law or the textbook row that is happening now. The Bommai administration seems to be tangled in controversies after controversies, and it is media manufactured controversies to a very large extent because of several articles that are published in international press, and the aim is to basically defame the state and to impact its growth in some manner or the other, which is why you see a lot of international articles suddenly publishing pieces which are very critical of the establishment in Karnataka and say that the government is very anti Christian and Christians are being persecuted. Now, this, regardless of whatever political differences one may have, can be concluded as an exaggeration. At the same time, while all these media controversies were happening, Karnataka signed an MOU worth $3 billion to set up a semiconductor manufacturing plant. And over the last few quarters, Karnataka has also been at the forefront of FDI investments in India. And Mumbai has embraced all these criticisms and kept on working on these fronts to attract more and more investments in Karnataka. Now, Bengaluru, for all the right reasons, is known as a technology hub and is called the Silicon Valley of India. It has become a hub for technology and for startups, with a sizable number of unicorns emerging from the city. Interestingly, Home Minister Amit Shah paid a visit to Karnataka just about a month ago, and this is believed to be a precursor to Prime Minister Modi's visit to Karnataka. And Amit Shah actually visited Karnataka when the state was grappling with a lot of issues. One of the ministers, K.S. Ishwarappa, had resigned on the charges of corruption, and there was an alleged scam in the police recruitment system in Karnataka, and all of these scandals and controversies were affecting the government's image. And this is when Amit Shah came and met several leaders and attended a few events and inaugurated a few things. And this was believed to be a precursor to the Prime Minister's recent visit to the state. In just about a month, the talks of internal dissent and other controversies have been now suddenly replaced with energy and enthusiasm in the Karnataka cadre, which is welcoming the Vikas Purush to Karnataka. Now, these are not my words, but the words of Bengaluru South Lok Sabha MP Tejasvi Surya, who tweeted this out earlier today. Many of these controversies are now being replaced with Vikas, development. Uh, it is normal for any prime minister, even a sitting prime minister, to campaign for his own party during elections. But the fact that the government of Karnataka has declared a holiday when the prime minister was here shows that the Karnataka government and the BJP in Karnataka is very serious about his visit. On the 20th of June, the Prime Minister tweeted something like this, where he said that he is leaving for Karnataka, where he will be attending several programs in Bengaluru and Mysuru. He later on laid several founding stones for projects that would make crucial impact in terms of building good infrastructure for the state and improving intra and intercity transportation in the state and in Bengaluru. In general, there was a rising sentiment in the southern states that the taxpayers' money was being utilized only in the northern parts, and this had become a political rhetoric even for the opposition to criticize the BJP and the Prime Minister's several schemes. So this has been put to silence. The projects that were inaugurated earlier this week or this day by Prime Minister Modi will serve as a shot in the arm to silence all detractors ahead of the Karnataka elections in 2023. And some of the projects that were signed are Bengaluru Suburban Rail project, which has been pending over the last 3 to 4 decades, and the government has promised to clear this within the next 40 months. It's valued at 15,767 crores. There's fine national highway projects coming up and a multimodal logistics park, which is worth over 7,000 crores. And the Konkan Railway is being 100% electrified at a cost of 1,287 crores. And several lines are being doubled, tracks are being laid, modern railway stations are being built in Bayapnahalli, and modernizations of technological hubs like ITIs are being done at thousands of crores. But in total, uh, infrastructure projects worth 27,000 crores were announced by the Prime Minister, and the foundation stones for these projects were laid. And all of this is happening at a time when the Karnataka Congress is going through a severe internal dissent and infighting. To add fuel to the fire, Congress is busy blocking roads in New Delhi and making the lives of common citizens even more miserable, as the Enforcement Directorate, the ED, has called in Rahul Gandhi for questioning in the National Herald scam case. In terms of optics alone, the Congress party is on a suicide mission, it seems, with the Bharat Bandh recently having any impact at all, barely any impact at all, and with several senior leaders of the party backing the BJP's Agnipath scheme. And this has been a foot in the mouth movement for the Congress, because a lot of senior leaders have actually backed the Agnipath scheme, and this is something that the Congress did not envision. So there's internal fighting at the central level and the state level within the Congress, and the Prime Minister is now inaugurating a lot of projects, projects worth 27,000 crores in Karnataka. Now, to conclude, if history teaches us anything at all, it is the fact that the public has a short memory. But the public will also never forgive any party for causing inconvenience and using them as cannon fodder to fight their political ambitions. This is Sharan City, and I hope this explainer has been helpful in one way or the other. Please do let us know how we can improve and how we can engage with you by producing more such videos in the future. Until next time, this is your host signing off.